So, Coach, obviously washing away the disappointment of last weekend, what do you see on film that perhaps you can clean up this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to talk to you guys sometimes on Wednesday about the game from last Saturday because I've put it behind me, a long time ago. It was a lot more fun when we were talking about a win. Certainly it wasn't our best effort. We need to do better. I think everybody all the players understand that, and the coaching staff understands that we need to execute better. I said to you guys a week ago about Billy Napier. I thought Billy Napier pulled out a pretty good game plan, and what I think we've understood now, or I've learned quickly, and I put all the blame on myself, is that teams are going to stop running their normal offense and just run kind of gimmicky offenses against us. Run unbalanced formations, run formations into the sideline. There's two ways you can, with as much pressure as we like to apply, you can get us out of our pressure. You can try to block our pressures or get out of them. And for the last 2 weeks, teams have chosen to make us get out of them, by doing different unique formations, kind of unorthodox formations. So we took a new approach this week. We know Coach Mullen uses a lot of those formations and has a unique style. And whether they're in somebody's plan or not, whether we watch them on the film, we spend a lot of time against the things not only that they do, but the things that have hurt us over the last couple of weeks. So hopefully we'll be improved in all those scenarios this week.
You got a lot of defensive players that played against the Dan Mullen offense for 2 and 3 years in practice. How much of an advantage is that for you guys?
I suppose that's a good advantage. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think the players, and not only that, but Coach Baker and Coach Buckley have been great this week. Obviously the fact that they've gone against this day in, day out, week in, week out for the past couple of years. They know some things with regard to protections, how we might attack a defense like ours, and they've been very valuable. All the players and the coaches that were on the previous staff have been valuable in preparing for this week's game.
What about Coach Baker and Buckley in helping the offense know what may be coming defensively from Florida?
Yep, I think that's happened a lot. And I think, probably the thing that's most impressive to me this week, I think, is the old saying, you learn more in a loss than you do in a victory. Not just the lessons from the game that you correct, but about people. And I think our players really came out on Sunday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and we probably had our 3 best practices of the year. And unfortunately, maybe it took a loss for us to go, okay, we better get it together here a little bit. But in addition to that, I think it showed that our players really want to be successful. They have great pride in Mississippi State. And so not just that, our players have really offered up things, on both sides of the ball. Hey, just so you know, they called it this, or this is how they did this, or this is how they attack us. And so just not just the coaches and people who've been a part of the program, but a lot of the players too. And I think everybody's rallying, and certainly this is the most important game on the schedule because it's the next one, and really not for any other reason than that. I certainly understand the emotion in it, but we try to talk about playing the game of passion and not emotion. I think we've got an emotional team to a certain extent, and I think that's our greatest asset and maybe our worst asset. Sometimes we get a little too emotional.
Do you feel like after 3 days of practice that the lack of focus that you had last week, you feel like you've got that under control?
Yeah, yesterday was as focused and locked in a practice as we had all year. It really was. I mean, there wasn't a lot of yelling, screaming. It was really business. And today, for the most part, was the same way. We had to get on a little bit at the end. I think when you're 18 to 22 years old, sometimes it's hard to stay locked in for extended periods of time. And being on the road last week and being in a hostile environment like that, I think we played 60 snaps last week, and probably 50 of them on defense were really pretty good. As a matter of fact, 8 to 10 of them were really, really low bad, and sometimes it was just an individual just making a huge mistake that cost us a big chunk play or something along those lines. So yeah, I think we rallied back this week. We'll find out.
When you went back and watched the film, what did you see in that allowed Benny Snell to run for 165 or how many ever yards he had?
Oh yeah. First of all, he's a good player. Second, their offensive line's good. They did a good job. Again, it's sort of what I said. I mean, they had some unusual formations, whether it be unbalanced or FSL. They blocked us at times. I mean, I'll bet a lot of that yardage, came at the end of the game too. When it was 14-7, I thought it was a pretty spirited effort. And then after the Fitz interception, they got the one-play drive for a touchdown. And I don't think our guys gave up. That's not a fair thing to say. That's not an accurate thing to say. But I thought they had momentum and juice, and we did not have momentum and juice. And the two things that I've challenged the guys this week that can't ever happen again is, number one, that's 3 times in a row teams, when we've turned the ball over, and we haven't turned it all over that often, but every time we've turned it over, the other team scored, and we got to do better than that. And second, I don't ever want to see a team end the game with the ball taking a knee. We had opportunities. I think we had a 3rd and short, and I think we had that they got, maybe a 4th and short that they got, and then we had a penalty. It was just sloppy stuff. I mean, we had more missed tackles and more missed assignments and penalties than probably the last couple games combined. That's disappointing. And I think Coach Moorhead probably said some of the same things.
How do you think they'll respond to what you challenged them with this week?
They're great kids. I mean, they've worked hard. As I said, I really feel like we've put together a pretty good game plan, and I feel like the guys have executed really well on Tuesday and Wednesday. Obviously, you never know till the game. So many factors go into success or failure in a game, and there's so much momentum in big games like this. Ebbs and flows to the game. So, but I think they've prepared really hard, and now the only thing I can really say is let's go out and have a good Thursday practice and keep going. I think everybody's excited though.
As a defensive coach, what do you tell your unit when the offense is struggling, when your offense is struggling?
Well, Joe says it all the time. I think this is what makes Joe such a great coach. He's obviously more to the offensive side. But I don't think he cares if we win 52-49 or 7-6. There's no ego involved. And I think all of us on this staff are pulling in the same direction. And all we want to do is score one more point than our opponent. And I guess what I say is there's a difference between playing well and playing winning football. I mean, I've lost games 7-6 where the defense didn't come up with a stop when they needed. And I've also won games 49-45 or something like that where you go, boy, the defense wasn't very good today. But the defense made plays when they had to. And to me, that's the thing I say. There's a big difference between playing well and playing winning football. And the object is to play winning football. And I think everybody on our staff feels that way. There's the thing I'm so impressed with the culture that coaches create is there's no egos. If Fitz is having a rough day, it's Gary Green and Jeffrey got to step up. If Gary Green and Jeffrey are having a rough day, we know the offense is going to step up. And there's never been any. I don't feel like there was this week either. I don't think there's any finger pointing, this, that, or the other thing. I mean, I think certainly Joe and the offensive staff know the things they need to correct, and we acknowledge and recognize the things that we need to correct.